Grandpa Ralph. I bought all sorts of fun video games like Call of Duty 76 and Assassin's Creed 98 so that we can play fun games on my Xbox 1080 all night while Mom and Dad are at that new restaurant in Quadrant 5. What do you think?
Oh, ho, ho, Zane. You know that cryogenically frozen heads can't play video games?
Aw, space poop!
Another power outage? Why don't you go turn on the emergency generators, grandson? They should power up before you can say laser beams.
All right, Grandpa. I'll try and find the generator switch in the dark. Oh no, Grandpa! I broke the special case your special medal was in. Gee, I'm real sorry.
It's quite alright, Zane. I remember when I got this medal. It was long ago when we still lived on Earth.
Earth? Gee whiz, Grandpa, you are old.
Ha ha ha, you kids. Come here, Zane. Sit down and I will tell a tale of how I got this medal and how we came to live here in space. It was the summer of '69. That's 2069.
You're so old.
Okay, hush now. It was the summer of '69 and I was working on the farms in Kansas with my father, your great-granddaddy Eustace. It was a beautiful Sunday morning. The church bells were ringing, and we were rounding up the cattle and the chickens. I can still hear them now. Great-granddaddy Eustace would crack his whip, and the cows would run into the corral and gather to feed on the grains. And that's when it happened. Just as he was closing the cows into the corral, a black, unmarked vehicle sped by, and a man with an AK-47 shot Granddaddy Eustace 63 times in the chest. He shot him right in front of me.
Well, then what happened?
After they shot him, they sped away and I ran to my father. I picked up his head and placed it in my lap, and with his dying breaths he told me everything. He told me that he was an undercover CIA agent and the man that had shot him were Russian commies. He coughed red blood and it spewed on my face. I remember the taste of blood and tears in my mouth as I listened to his dying wishes. He told me that I had to go to a secret apartment that not even great-grandmother Muriel knew about. It was in New York City, and under a floorboard in this apartment were the plans that my father had stolen from the Russians. The plans were a massive operation to create a working civilization in space, the very place you live now. My father stole the plans from the Russians so that America could once again fulfill its manifest destiny and prosper first in the final frontier. And then he died, right there in my arms. I screamed up to the heavens in agony, but just for a little bit. My orders were clear and I ran all the way to New York City.
You ran all the way to New York City? That's bullshit, Grandpa.
Bullshit! Bullshit! Bullshit!
No, it's true, I did. Once I arrived at the apartment, I snuck by the security guard and took the elevator up to the penthouse apartment at the very top. I took the elevator, you see, because I had just run from Kansas earlier, and I thought America wouldn't mind if my feet took a little rest. Once I reached the penthouse, I ran inside and immediately found the plans under the floorboard. I looked at them in disbelief. How could humans survive in space? But I couldn't waste too much time thinking. I had a job to do for Lady Liberty. So I ran all the way to Texas that night to give the plans to NASA rocket scientists. When they saw me, I didn't have to say a word. They looked at me and said, "You're Eustace's boy, aren't you? He was a good man, and so are you, son."
Wow, Grandpa, you sure ran a hell of a long way. Your legs must have been tired.
Yes, I know, grandson. That's why I'm only a head now. They had to amputate my mangled body shortly after I received my medal.
So, we live in space now because of you, Grandpa Ralph?
Yes, Zane, it's true. Do you want to hear the story of how I cured the AIDS virus using paper clips, a rubber band, and tears from a jackal?
Yeah.